of a dangerous goods management plant. In fact, these villages live less than 200 meters, which is very close, so there's no doubt that they're being harmed.
In China, power politics often intervenes when disputes like this arise. Police and government officials somehow heard that we were in town and they came to pay us a call. The government official told me that they could help us and then asked a question that would be put to us again and again. Many villagers think that the local government and police have been working hand in hand with the company. So when they thought the local authorities were trying to stop us from interviewing them, you could feel the tension building. They started letting these government officials know what they thought of them.
Don't we have the right to speak? As citizens, isn't it our basic right to speak? Can't we express our grief? Isn't this our right? Nobody should try to stop us speaking, no matter who it is, especially the government. We didn't act violently. Why do they always send in the police? Well, we have a question. Are they putting pressure on the villagers to stop us talking about pollution? They don't want to solve the problem. They just want to put pressure on us.
The villagers were then ordering government officials to leave. Some of the locals were exploding with anger, but the officials still wanted to find out who they could blame for us being there. A woman threw herself onto the ground in protest, and the official told me that this was not a problem. Finally, they went. The chaos of the day prompted the incinerator company to speak to us. Yang Guangzhong is the local manager who was on site.
那个老的焚烧炉，你觉得它的污染怎么样？
老的焚烧炉确实有存在，在运行不稳定的情况下是有影响的。
所以你觉得老的焚烧炉的污染肯定会对人来说是不好的，对不对？
是不好的。
然后那个在这里的农村，有的老百姓说，他们说有好多人因为癌症死了，他们说是因为这个污染，你觉得他们说的对吗？
这个没有科学的依据，而我们的工人是长年累月在这边生产的。实际上，我们的工人是第一个接触这个环境的，所以到目前为止，我所知的，到现在我的工人没有一个有这样子的。
One of the reasons we were allowed in was to see the new incinerators which are being built. The company says that they'll drastically reduce pollution and that as soon as they're ready, the old one will be shut down.
If the company moves, we will light fireworks to celebrate. We will applaud. We won't want any compensation, as long as they move as far away as possible.
There are two solutions. One is we move, the other is they move. The government is already organizing for them to move. We think our enterprise is contributing to society and the environment.
If the lawyers can't get the factory to close, then there's the second best option. They'll try and negotiate a settlement in which everyone is moved to a safer location. And this historic town will probably be demolished. Then they'll move on to another pollution case, because there are a lot of them in China and plenty of potential for them to make enemies.
你们不怕吗？
因为做这份工作肯定是要有风险的，我们在选择它之前都已经预料到了。
但是它在不断的前进，也在不断的开放。
Until recently, it had been economic growth which had won out every time in China at the expense of the natural world. And at times, it's come at quite a cost to this country's people.
I tell the bosses of some companies, you might make money as big as mountains of gold and silver, but if all the money is made from the loss of green rivers and blue mountains, your future generations won't be able to eat gold for food or drink silver as water. You'll be cursed by them because you have ruined their life and their earth.
Now there are those trying to turn the tide here. The question is it all too late?
That's all the time we have for this edition of 101 East. You can always follow the program on our website, podcast and Facebook. From all the team, thanks for watching.
Personal blogs by professional journalists. blogs.aljazeera.net.
Hello there, I'm Sheila Ghosh with the headlines here on Al Jazeera. Large crowds have gathered in Cairo's Liberation Square once again. It's the 14th day of anti-government protests. The symbolic coffin of a journalist who was killed in earlier demonstrations have been carried through the crowd. Ahmed Mahmoud worked for the state-run Al Tawoun newspaper and was shot taking a photo from the balcony during the protests. The government made more concessions after sitting down for talks with opposition groups on Sunday. Opposition groups, the Muslim Brotherhood, has told Al Jazeera it's reviewing its decision to take part in talks with the government. WikiLeaks founder Julian Assange has arrived at court in London. He's fighting an extradition bid over allegations of sexual assault. Defence lawyers will argue that he should not be extradited because he was not in fact been charged with a crime. They say if he's extradited to Sweden, he could eventually end up in Guantanamo Bay. A hearing into the killing of former Lebanese Prime Minister Rafik al-Hariri is underway in the Netherlands. Highly sensitive charges, including terrorism and conspiracy, are expected to be revealed. The indictment has sparked a political crisis in Lebanon, where Hezbollah members are expected to be implicated. The Cambodian government says heavy shelling by the Thai army has caused part of an 11th century temple to collapse. Fighting over the past 4 days has forced thousands of Thai villagers to flee the disputed border region. Hundreds of Cambodians have been evacuated. Both countries lay claim to the area surrounding the temple. UN Chief Ban Ki-moon is said to be deeply concerned about the standoff and has called for maximum restraint. Emergency warnings have been issued for areas of Western Australia as bushfires continue in the region. Dozens of homes have already burned down, and more houses are under threat as the blaze engulfs the outskirts of Perth. Japan's Prime Minister Naoto Kan has called for Russia to return 4 islands claimed by both nations. Kan was speaking at a rally in Tokyo attended by hundreds of former Japanese residents of the island chain. They're known as the Northern Territories in Japan.